Boy, death, taxes, Arsenal top of the league, and Arsenal getting injuries. As you can see, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed Martin Ødegaard has suffered collateral ligament injury to his left knee. Martin will continue to be assessed and treated by our medical team during the international window, Arsenal statement confirms. Just before we read that official statement, you would have seen in the aftermath of obviously our victory against West Ham United, where the same way we shat on the Magpies, we hammered the Hammers, and they're still vexed about Declan twice. We backed against them. It's cool, man. They're usually join the big club. But let's stay with this. It's not really positive in it. Like Mikel Arteta, sometimes, you know what it is? Managers, they don't always lie, but they don't always tell the truth. Sometimes he speaks about players like we're not going to see them for the foreseeable future, and then they're in the next lineup. Equally, sometimes he sounds quite upbeat, and then they're not there. But every now and again, I think you can take his words at face value, and he sounded a bit more optimistic about Declan Rice, and I think naturally we all think Declan Rice is a lot more durable than Martin Ødegaard, the Glaswegian, who, you know, is a bit frail. And unfortunately, you know, in the last couple of games at the Emirates, he's had 3 injuries where he's come off at halftime, two shoulder ones, and now the knee. And as you can see here, immediately he was uncomfortable. To be fair, he did try to play on, which again, I'm no physio, it's above my pay grade. I ain't gone uni or any of that to be a physio, but maybe sometimes the player needs to be saved from themselves, and he kept going. To be fair, the last prior times when Yeri was coming on, obviously Zubamendi came on, he was taking off Odegaard, and that's the biggest shame beyond the obvious of the stop-start season that Martin Ødegaard has had, and you know he's still playing catch-up and all the question marks about him, and he looked good against Newcastle, looked good against Olympiacos. We rocked into this game against West Ham, and I thought, right, like, listen, Arsenal fans, even the biggest Arteta defender, like, sometimes we think Donny's a bit too stubborn, and you know, Arteta, since the City game, you've been patterning, you've been playing the lineup we want to see. So when we came into this West Ham game, I was like, raw, Eze and Odegaard centrally, one of Rice and Zubamendi. We didn't really get to see what that partnership, or better yet, that trio in midfield could bring to the table, because 30 minutes in, Odegaard's come off. Zubamendi came on and done well. Remember, I told you Zubamendinho, he's cold, but yeah, it's a shame. Immediately was uncomfortable. I just spoke to him. He's not positive about it. Immediately was uncomfortable. He's not positive about it. He's got a brace on. We'll have to wait and see from the doctors, but we haven't been very lucky with that either. So what does that I mean, the only saving grace is we're true to this. We're not new to this. We've seen the injuries crisis at Arsenal last season. I don't want to remind you, but you lot knew what time it was. And we've been dealing with injuries since the start of the year. The difference is Berta, Arteta, Kroenkes, everybody involved, Richard Garlick, Tim Lewis, who's departed. We've got depth, but boy, it's a shame, man. It's a shame because we're going to need everyone. Whatever you think about these players individually, we're going to need everyone. And it's a shame because it feels like, for me anyways, couple players, not necessarily with the West Ham game, but a player or a couple players come back to the fold and then keep people go out. And what's our injury list look like? Bearing in mind, there might be players playing on injury that we don't know about, fingers, toes, everything crossed, whatever God or gods you worship, please say a prayer or prayers for us Arsenal players, because they're going to the international break. But we've seen Saka have a layoff, Madueke, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Martin Ødegaard. I'm sure Mikel Merino, I could be wrong. Definitely Norgard, Ben White. Have to be a bit cute and clever. As great as Timber's been, I'll always be a bit wary with that, people. So it's a bit of, it isn't, well, it's not a bit of a disappointment. It is a disappointment. Now, Arsenal have said Martin Ødegaard has been withdrawn from the Norway national team for their upcoming matches against Israel and New Zealand after sustaining a medial collateral ligament injury, MCL, to his left knee during the first half in Saturday's win over West Ham United. Obviously, he had a bit of a coming together with Somerville of West Ham. Obviously, no one meant it. This is football. These things happen. Martin will continue to be assessed and treated by our medical team at the Solbar Reality Training Centre. It's always going to be London Coley to me during the international window, with the aim of a return as soon as possible, which, fingers, toes, everything crossed, but boy, it don't look good. And even that, people, when you look at the MCL timeline, again, I ain't no physio. I guess every day that they do other scans and stuff like that, it'll bring something else. But you have all the way from grade 1 to 3 in it. So if it's a minor strain, he's out for 3 weeks. If it's if it's a grade 2, apologies, it's 4 to 6 weeks. If it's a grade 3, then it's 6 weeks or even longer. And again, people, like, as much as I'm focused on Arsenal and he's our captain, and to be honest with you, I want Odegaard to remind everyone how good he is, because some people, criticisms and praise, that's fair. This is the industry. But I think people are forgetting Odegaard's a fucking fantastic player, if I'm honest with you. And, you know, there's a lot of other stuff. And I feel You got over the shoulder injuries. You was about to show us something. You was about to say, you know what, you lot doing this Eze's flavor of the month thing. All right, I'm gonna show you, but unfortunately, it's not. So, best case scenario is out for 1 to 3 weeks. Worst case scenario is 6+. Again, I'm no physio. We hope for the best. We prepare for the worst. And forgot to mention Kai Havertz has also been injured. Like Hincapie as well. Like we've got too many players. Anyways, I can't remember everybody who's here, people. But even that, like. It looks a bit mad because you look at our fixtures again. If we assume 6+ weeks, Fulham, well, we all know Fulham is a write-off, maybe a saving grace because it's the international break and you shave a week off. But Fulham's a write-off, Atletico's a write-off, Palace a write-off, and I know they lost against Everton, but could you argue Crystal Palace and Bournemouth? I ain't got the statistics for Bournemouth, but Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, for me, regardless of statistics, they look like the most informed teams in the Premier League. So to not have every option is horrible. Obviously, if we assume Eze was going to keep playing in that role and Ødegaard might be drip-fed minutes, then he might have got a start against Brighton on the 29th of October. Then obviously you've got Burnley. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 would be the Slavia Prague game. But if it's plus, then boy, like I don't think we're seeing him for at least until December. But again, I'm no physio. I don't know what Martin said. I don't know the doctors. I don't know the consultants. We got to remember every day and every minute, it's not just one scan, it's several. There might be more upbeat news. There probably won't be. For me, as I said, we prepare for the worst. So for me, we have to assume it's the worst case scenario. But we pray that it's not, because as much as, obviously, as a selfish Arsenal fan, I'm thinking about like Ødegaard as part of the team and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes I take a step back and I look at injuries, people, and I think, right, you know what? This guy's in his mid-20s, a knee injury. Yeah, he's a footballer for a number of years, and that obviously has ramifications. But he's a father now. He's going to be a grandfather one day. He's a son. He's a nephew. He's all these things, and you need your mobility in it. These footballers, boy, I know they get paid a lot, but boy, they get ran into the ground. And even that, for Mikel Arteta, at the end of the day, injuries are not unique. Arteta has to adapt, has to evolve. He's been dealing with that. And of all the times you've had to adapt, you've got your options. You've had Ødegaard, you've got Eze, Merino, Wanyeri, and all those kind of things. And maybe you might even see a flat midfield three. Not that I want to go back to that, and obviously if Kai's fit, Trossard can play in the 10, there's little things you can do. But even that, when you just browse through the fixtures, people, Fulham, you might start Wanyeri away from home. You might go with Merino against Atletico Madrid. You might go with Eze against Palace in the 10, not necessarily out wide. God knows what you do against Brighton. You get where I'm going. So gonna have to box cleverly, if I'm completely honest with you. But most importantly, speedy recovery, Capitano, in it. It's as simple as that.
There's always that active red line. Defenders, I think, it's like